So I think we'll begin. If we haven't met, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and this is VinYin, or Vinyasa in Yin. And today's focus is going to be hips and hamstrings with a special focus on toe walking. So get your peace signs ready. So let's get started. I'm going to start in a reclined butterfly with blocks. I'm going to have a strap handy. So I'm going to come to my back. And the blocks aren't necessary, but I like to use them for the next pose. So if you happen to have blocks, great, have them available. You can set up your butterfly. And really what I like about this, or what we can notice, is how the legs are angled. Now, most of us are not going to go into butterfly and have the knees hit the ground. And so that means we have this more, let's say, 45-degree angle on the legs. So we're going to think about that later when we do our toe locks. So find your reclined butterfly with or without your props. The arms drape out to the sides, palms open. The eyes soften, the jaw unhinges. Just take a few moments to get really present into this space. The soles of the feet are touching. You can lightly press them just a little bit more together, just ever so gently, and feel how that sort of creates that connection of energy all the way through the legs to the pelvic floor, sort of continuing that circuit. Notice the quality of the breath. The breath is really your teacher. If the breath is smooth and even, you're usually more relaxed or present. If the breath is rough or non-existent, you're either absent or stressed. And so use the breath as a way to center yourself, to drop into the body, and to find that space that you're looking for. So let's take a nice full inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. Again, in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out. In through the nose. Hold at the top. This time, lightly exhale out the nose. In through the nose, beginning to cultivate Ujjayi breathing. Exhale back out the nose. So just take a few cycles of breath on your own. As your breath starts to find its own pattern, take your hands to the outer knees, guide them together. Blink the eyes open, reach the arms overhead. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms open, stretch, reach. Yawning is always nice. And then relax your arms down. We can simply cross the right ankle over the left knee, figure four. Hands on the thigh bones, and physically press your thighs away from you. And specifically feel how that right hip creates a little bit more space. And then reach for the left thigh to thread the needle. But when you get here, see if you can move that right knee away from you, from within the hip socket, by engaging the right buttocks, by engaging the right glutes. So we did it on the ground, where I physically moved that right hip away. Find that same experience and thread the needle by engaging the right buttocks and letting that open up the hip. We'll take just a couple of breaths here. Just feeling what it's like to firm and wrap that right buttock underneath. And hopefully you're really using the muscles of the side glutes, the glute max even, you'll feel already for me that glute is starting to get a little bit warm. So we're activating that area. Set your feet down and we'll switch. So cross left ankle over right knee. Flex the toes back, hands on the thigh bones. Physically press both thighs away so you have even pressure on both femurs. And then find the right thigh, pull it in, engage that left hip, And try to draw the hip away. Find your breath. Continue to steer that top knee, that left knee away from you by engaging the left glutes. And then set both of your feet down. Pull your right knee into your chest. You can straighten the left leg out on the floor. Now, if you have a strap, this is where you can grab it, slide it over the right foot, reach it to the ceiling. And I happen to have my blocks here, so I'm going to use them. Because again, it's not about getting deep into the pose, or maybe not what you might think is deep. So from here, taking the straps into the right hand, externally rotate your legs. So point your right toes towards the side. And then I'm just going to turn my block up on the side like a ramp so that when I open, I'm not going all the way down to the floor. So I just want to stretch the inner thigh. I want to continue to try to revolve that right heel up towards the ceiling, externally rotating. And I want to try to keep this left leg nice and neutral like I'm in Tadasana. Try to wrap the right buttock underneath. Really firm that right hip like you just did a moment ago in our thread the needle. And then depending on where you are with your strap, maybe you can take your peace sign and try to toe lock that toe. And don't worry if you didn't make it, no big deal. You can just see how far that reach might be for you. And then let go of the toe lock if you've got it. Bring your leg up to center. You can just simply bend your right knee or keep it straight, your choice. But take a nice simple twist, just crossing that right leg over the body to the left. Come to center, and then let's slide the left foot in the strap, lower the right leg down. Take a few moments here, see this neutral leg, and then externally rotating by pointing your toes towards the left. You can even take the hip crease and kind of press it away, which might help to externally rotate more. So what we don't want to do is bring the leg all the way down where we sort of tip off that right hip. So once you start to open, keep the right hip rooted, maybe consider using this block or a prop like a folded blanket so that you don't lower as much. We stretch the inner thigh, continue to revolve that left heel towards the ceiling, and try to wrap the left buttock underneath. Use that to try to get more movement from within the hip socket. You can stay as you are. I like to hold the strap and just maybe take your left peace sign and just see where are the toes from there. Again, you don't have to reach for it, just explore. We'll be doing this a lot today. So it's nice to kind of see where you are here before it's weight bearing and adding balance. Okay, come to center, straighten or bend your knee, whatever you did on side one, and enjoy a nice twist. All right, come to center, pull both knees into your chest, hands under the knees, and you can rock yourself up to seated. Okay, move your strap out of your way for now. We're going to actually keep our blocks towards the back edge of the mat for now. So just if you have them there. If you don't have blocks and you have something like a folded blanket, you can have those there. So make your way to tabletop. And let's just turn our fingertips back and get a nice stretch through the hands, through the wrists. We might just sort of move through some cat-cows here as well, just to do something a little bit different. So inhale, pull the chest forward. Exhale, round. I'll try that a couple of times on your own. Inhale. You may not get very deep depending on how your wrists feel, but just explore. One more. All right, then release. Shift all the way back into child's pose, extended. You can have those arms out in front of you. Spread wide through the fingers. Then take an inhale, come up hands and knees, lift the heart, tuck the toes under, bend your knees, lift the hips. Really root into the palms, let the head go. Pedal the feet out, so just getting movement in the legs. You can swivel, so come high to your toes, keep your feet hip width, and just drop both feet to the right. So you're pretty staggered, left foot just drops to the inside. Push into your palms, more specifically the right palm, so you can lift up through the hips and lengthen evenly through the side waists. Come through center on the toes, and then swivel over to the left. Keep pushing into your palms, lifting your hips up high. and find center. Shift forward to plank, or you can set your knees on the ground, especially these first ones. It's nice to have a little bit of time to get deeper. And then tip forward, lower down, elbows hug the body. Reach back through the toes, press firmly into the feet. Inhale, lift your heart, low cobra, and release. Again, inhale, lift, maybe higher, but pull the navel in, and release. One more, inhale, lift, and lower down. Press up hands and knees. And then from here, take your right leg, reach it back behind you. So press through the heel, point the toes down. Now notice when you turn the toes to the side, it's that external rotation again. So reach the leg back, turn the toes to the side for a moment, inhale. Exhale, bring your knee towards your right shoulder, firm the standing hip in. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, knee again to the right shoulder, firm it in, firm the standing hip in. One more. All right, bring it to the right. Firm everything in, using your core just a little bit here. And bring it back. Okay, left side. Extend it straight back, point the toes at the ground. Turn them to the side just to feel the difference. It's the same thing we've been doing. And then bend your knee and pull the knee towards the shoulder. It doesn't have to go there. Firm the standing hip in. And reach back. And if you're not sure what I mean, on this next exhale, when you pull the knee to the shoulder, look down. Are you leaning on that right hip? Can you firm it towards the center? And back. One more. Firm that standing hip in. And release. Okay. Take an inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Rooting to your inner palms. As you press through the palms, feel your inner shoulders lift up and away, creating some length in your neck. Press down through your heels, peel up the toes. And then raise your right leg up halfway behind you. Like we did on knees, turn the toes to the right, inhale. Exhale, knee to the right shoulder as you shift forward. Can you tap the shoulder? Maybe, maybe not. Inhale back. Again, like that. Exhale, knee to the right shoulder. And back. This time, knee to nose. Step the foot to the center of the hands. Look up, inhale. Exhale, turn left. All 10 toes face the side wall. Bend your left knee. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come up onto the right heel. And for me, I need a little time. So I'm going to sit down on that block and just bring the palms together. Sit up tall. You may not need this block, but for me, I have one side that works really well, the other side not so much. I'm going to take my right hand out, find my peace fingers, and as my left elbow hugs into that inner thigh, I'm going to reach towards that right toe. Maybe I can toe lock the big toe. Open the heart and consider sending that left arm high. I'm going to pull into the toe, I'm going to push the toe back, lift in, and extend. All right, release the hands. Bring them in front of you, shift back to the front of your mat. Come into your lunge. Left hand is flat, right hand reaches high. And stay as you are, or at any time today, you can add the side plank. We're going to do this a few different ways today, so this might be just a nice place to see how you're feeling. All right, right hand down. Shift forward from plank or knees, lower halfway, hold. Lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra, or upward facing dog. Push into the feet, lift the navel in. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, inhale. Turn it out. Exhale, knee to the left shoulder, maybe tap. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to left shoulder. And back. Exhale, knee to nose, step the foot to the center of the hands, look up, inhale. Exhale, turn right, bend your right knee, and then start to have a seat. So for me, this is the side that the block is really helpful as I come up onto that left heel. Take a moment here, see if you can press that right side away. Take your left hand with your peace sign and start to reach, lean. Maybe you grab your big toe, if not, just hold on to the leg. So I'm pushing the toe into the hand and pulling the hand back, and I'm trying to lengthen. Find your breath, reach that top arm high. That might just be Sort of side angle. Don't worry if you're nowhere near that toe. Okay, lean forward, shift forward to the front of your mat, turn, right hand down on floor block, left arm reaches, twist, or start to move into those side planks, lifting the hips, finding your breath. Left hand down, plank, and float out. As you lower halfway in chaturanga, maybe scrub the toes back. Find your up dog or any back bend you choose. Downward facing dog. Okay, let's take a couple of breaths here to see how we feel. Inhale, high to the toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway, chest forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky, palms press, and exhale, hands to heart. Okay, how are we doing? Surya Namaskar A, sun salute A. So big toes touch, a little space between the heels. So press your femurs, your thigh bones straight back. Lift your pubic bone as you drop your tailbone. Arms are by your sides. Surya Namaskar A. Take an inhale, reach the arms high, palms press. Exhale, forward fold, soften the knees on the way down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step to plank, or you can always jump to chaturanga. Move through your vinyasa on your own. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths here. Hands are shoulder width apart, feet are hip width apart. Try to spin your biceps, your inner upper arms forward as you wrap your triceps, your outer upper arms back. Thigh bones press back here. Find your breath. All our yoga poses want to have stability and ease. So what's stable? Really root into it. You also have this feeling of ease, of comfort. High to your toes. Bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, round 2. Inhale, arms reach. Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, your back bend, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 5 breaths. High to the toes, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway, exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky, palms press. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, 3 on your own, Surya A. If you don't know it, just make it up. Meet in your 3rd downward facing dog. Inhale is usually lifting. Exhale, forward. Find your breath. 3 to 5 breaths in each downward facing dog. And move to your pace. Remember, this is a moving meditation, so when your breath stops, movement stops. And that's not that slippery today. So if you, sometimes I scrub my toes back to flip over into up dog. If your mat doesn't scrub, just flip over right foot then left, and the next round left foot then right. We have one more round when we did our next down dog. All right, so do what you need to arrive. There we go, a little more slippery. In downward facing dog. Take a few moments here, let the head hang, root into the palms and into the feet. And then let's begin to walk our hands back towards our heels, forward fold at the back of the mat. So first, let's stand on our hands, Padahastasana. If you're not interested in standing on your hands, you can always flip your hands over on your blocks instead. Just do something that's going to give those wrists a nice stretch again. Toes can massage wrists by scrunching forward, lean a little forward, and lift the inner shoulder blades. All right, release your hands. Heel toe your feet together. Big toes touch again, little space between the heels. Bend your knees, drop your seat, chair pose, Utkatasana. Take a moment here. Weight in the heels. And then inhale, rise, bring your right leg up with you. You can take your hands on your shin, just sort of hold it there for a moment, and then try to firm the standing hip in, just like we did when we were on our knee. And then open to the right. Take a moment here. Try to keep your frontal hip bones square to the front of your mat. So that's that same sort of 45 degrees that I pointed out in the beginning in our butterfly. Then you can stay here or reach for the foot planted on the inner thigh for tree. But don't lean again. Firm that standing hip in. Keep your hips facing the front of the mat, which mean that knee is not as far back as you'd like it. And so now engage. Hug the right buttock underneath. Use that to steer the right knee a little wider. Lift the pubic bone, send the thigh bone back. Hands are up to you. And if you're really hugging this left hip in, you get some work. So I'm already feeling that work in my ankle and in my inner thigh. My legs are working. All right, bring the knee back. Sit back slowly, chair. Utkatasana. Weight in the heels. Inhale, rise. Bring up the left leg. Hands on the shin. Take a moment. And then firm the standing right hip in. Open to the side. Take a moment here. Try to hug that left buttock underneath. And then plant it for tree pose, Vrikshasana. Hug the standing hip in, everything to the center line. Lift up through the pubic bone. We don't want to tuck the tailbone underneath. We just want to firm the buttock under, lift up through the pubic bone. Hug it all to the center line. Hands are up to you. Bring the leg back to center. Sit back into chair. Take an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Heel toe your feet hip width. We're going to walk forward into down dog, but I'm just going to sort of walk with my blocks because I want them there for later. And so I'm just going to set them up there where I know I usually like them. All right. Take an inhale. Reach your right leg up halfway behind you. Exhale. Step your foot to the center of your hands, right in the middle. Drop the back heel down and come on up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Now even here, we're firming in through that back hip and wrapping that front buttock under. So it's the same experience. Take a couple of breaths here. And you might experiment with sort of picking up the front toes, trying to really spread through those toes, because later we want a toe lock, right, if you haven't already. So see if you can pick up and spread those front toes. Sink a little deeper. And then reach towards the front of the room, in front of your mat, and then set either your right elbow down on your thigh, or my block is there handily enough, so I'm going to set my hand on it and sink into my lunge. Lengthen the side waist, open the heart. Couple of breaths here. Even here, I'm hugging that front buttock underneath. If I do it too much, this left thigh moves forward, so it's sort of sandwiching to the center. Left thigh back, right buttock underneath. And then let's start to straighten up the right leg. Now, normally I like the block on the outside, but it's already there. So let's just slide it back. Maybe pick up and spread your toes as if you were going to toe lock. Pull that bottom hip back, right waist forward. Couple of breaths. Reach the top arm high, push into the bottom hand, reach up out of the top, as if this is already your side angle pose, your side plank pose. And then sweep the left hand down. Come up onto your back toes, finding yourself in lunge. Now the same thing we did earlier. Your left hand is down, your right arm reaches high. You can stay, you can move into side plank, or let's add the tree leg. Whew, if you're ready, lift up, tip the top hip forward, maybe you reach that arm over, or you can reach it up, depending on what you'd like to do. Bring your right hand down. If you are in the tree leg, maybe try to keep it and move through a vinyasa, or at least a push-up. All right, how'd we do? All right, take a moment here. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Anchor the back heel down. Come on up, warrior two. So again, firm the right hip in, wrap the left buttock underneath. Try to find that placement here where you're working both legs. And pick up and spread the toes, especially those front toes on the left side. You can lean elbow to thigh or use your block on the inside. And if you press too much, see if you can pull that left buttock back. So left buttock back, right thigh bone back. Couple of breaths here. When you're ready, begin to straighten, moving into your triangle pose, Trikonasana. Push into that front foot, lengthen the side waist. Right hand down, come up onto the back toes, find your way into your lunge. Twist, or make it your side plank with the tree leg. So lift that bottom hip up and away. Tip the top hip forward. You can reach up through the top palm or send it over, whatever's working for you. Okay, bring the hand down. If you have the tree leg, maybe keep it. I like a push-up. You might be good enough to do a vinyasa. Whew, that's not my camp. Find your way into down dog. Couple of breaths. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Drop the back heel down. Come on up. Warrior two again. Straighten the leg. Switch to warrior two on the left side. So not changing directions, just getting into the left leg for a moment. And then straighten it up. Turn the toes in, hands on hips. Okay, so make sure you're on the same line. Oftentimes I get here and one foot is further forward than the other. So I've just shifted myself back. See, this is great. Unless we have one foot bigger than the other. I'm using the back edge of my mat just to feel that I'm on the same line. I'm turning my toes in just slightly, hugging those outer ankles in. I feel it in the outer hips or even in the inner thighs. Hands on hips, lift the chest, inhale. Exhale, soften, take a forward fold. Hands on the floor, look up for just a moment. Find length. If you want, use your peace fingers. You can grab under your big toes. Lift up like a claw. Pull your chest forward, push down through your toes. And then elbows wide. As you fold, whether you're doing my arm placement or not, hug the outer ankles, outer hips in. Reach through the crown of the head, lift through the inner shoulders. Sometimes we overstretch the hamstrings. It's super common, but so we want to keep them engaged. So see if you can feel the inner thighs engaging, the quads, the front of the thighs engaging, even a tiny micro bend in the knees. And almost imagine you could engage from your knee to your sit bone. Release your toes. Come up halfway, pause. Place your hands on your hips. Lead with your heart, come all the way up. Okay, step your feet in. Maybe work out your ankles. Where did my strap go? There we go. So everyone's a little bit different. We're gonna take a little mini break to move into a standing toe lock. So some of you will take your peace sign, you'll grab your right big toe and you'll stand tall. And you'll feel comfortable to go forward and then to the side. If that's not you, or you just wanna save your hamstrings a little bit, or a strap feels nice, do the same thing with the strap. Now I'm just gonna show before we're fully into it. So it's that same external rotation and opening, firming the side hip in. Now sometimes I see this, where everyone thinks, oh, I'm doing so good. The leg is really high, but you can see I haven't wrapped the buttock under and I really am not stable in that standing leg. So don't worry so much about how it visually looks. Just sort of find that placement of firming and wrapping. Okay, so whether you have your strap or not, let's pull the right leg in. Stand tall. Toe lock if you'd like with your right peace sign. Stand up tall or you have your strap. Take the legs straight forward and just take a moment. You push the toe into the hands, hands back into the toe, or use your strap. Firm the standing hip in. Then externally rotate like we did in the beginning. The toes will turn out a little bit. Slowly open. Now wrap the right buttock under, firm the standing hip in. You're not going to get maybe as deep as you like, and that's okay. Breathe. Maybe left arm out for balance. You can even do this at a wall. Okay, come to center and release. All right, yogis, looking good. Let's do the second side. So pull the left leg in. And if you're like me, I have one hamstring set that's more easily stretched than the other. I don't think this is it. So we'll see how I do. Take your peace signs or your strap, whatever you'd like. Stand tall. Even if you don't get that leg fully straight, it's about lengthening. Maybe take that leg straight. Yep, this is the leg that's not as happy with the hamstrings, so it's okay. I'm just gonna listen. Firm in the standing hip. Turn the toes out a little bit on that standing or on that top leg and then open to the side. Breathe. And if you keep your hand on your outer hip, you can feel, are you leaning too much into it? Can you firm into it? I didn't get to go as deep as I wanted once I made that sort of move. Firm into the center. Woo. Wrap that left buttock under. All right, we can do it. Okay, come to center and release. All right, nice job, yogis. Take your feet back out to the sides, hands on hips. Lift your chest, inhale, exhale, fold. Pull your chest forward, find length. Then turn to the right. We're gonna do the exact same thing we just did, but maybe in a side plank. So once we come back forward, I'm gonna root my left palm. I'm gonna make sure that hand is happy. Otherwise it's just a twist or anything else you want. My right hand is gonna grab my big toe on that right leg. I'm gonna find my peace sign. Roll to the outer edge of that back leg. I can always stay in the tree pose, or I can do the same work I've done. Lift up through the hip and find my side plank, Vashisthasana. All right, lower. So much harder to do that and talk. So decide, do you want a vinyasa or right to down dog? Okay, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it to the center. Drop the back heel down, come on up, warrior two. Just take a moment here. And then move to warrior two on the right side. Just change it up a little. And then straighten it up, turn the toes in, line up the feet, do what you need. And then maybe bring the fingertips together, palms face one another. Whew, my wrists are a little bit tight. Roll the shoulders back. Now, it's really common not to work the hands in this reverse prayer all that great. So if this is just not where you want to be, make fists. Just press those together. We avoid grabbing the elbows because usually one side gets pulled a little bit more. We want to be even. So make fists, or if you're ready, reverse prayer. All right, wherever you are, take an inhale, lift your chest, firm your thighs. Exhale, fold. All right, use your breath. Take this moment of rest. And release the hands. Look up halfway. Turn left. You'll end up in a left lunge. And then the same as before. Right hand is down. You can take your peace sign if you feel comfortable in moving to that side plank. Roll to the outside edge of that right foot. Lift up from the hip. You can stay in tree. Ooh, now this is that side that's not as open for me. What about you? Can you lift up through the hip? Find your breath. All right, and release. Vinyasa, or just go right to child's pose. We'll meet there in just a moment. All right, knees down, shift back, and take a nice child pose. All right, let's finish up our practice here, at least our vinyasa portion. So find your way back to down dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Step it next to the right thumb tip. So we've been doing the center of the hands. Let's go right thumb tip. And I'm literally standing on my thumb tip to show you. And then I'm going to take my left foot, move it a little left and over as I anchor it down. And come on up, warrior one. All right, how are we feeling? They definitely feel warm, which is nice for this practice because those hips get nice and warm and a little bit more pliable, a little bit more mobile. So sweep the hands behind you, interlace or hook thumbs, whatever works for you. You can use your strap even. Lift your chest on an inhale and exhale, fold. Humble warrior one. Move to the inside of the hip and try to pull the right buttock back. Heart forward, find your breath. Release the hands to the ground. Come up onto the back toes. And one last time we'll work sort of these parts that we've done. So I'm going to walk my right leg over to the right more. I'm going to drop the back knee down just to give myself a rest. I'm actually going to move over because I'm quite close to my wall. All right. So you're welcome to stay here. You can turn the toes out and enjoy a nice hip opener. You can stay here for as long as you'd like, or you might move into an arm balance, Ekapada Kundanyasana 2. So if you want to take the arm balance, you'll lift back up, take your right hand behind the right heel and try to get the shoulder underneath. Flatten the palms, lift your heart like you're moving into plank, straighten the right leg. Lean forward, pick up the back leg. Let me try again. I think I'm tired now. You might be too. So maybe that hip opener sounds a little bit better. Yes, I think it does. All right, lower down. Open. I crack up. Sometimes I have so much energy. I did that pose earlier today and so much energy for it. And now, not so much. All right. Find your way back to down dog, however you get there. And of course, you know, we're doing that on side 2. Yay. All right, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. Back foot moves up and right. Come on up, warrior one. Sink in. And I've slightly widened the stance here. Hands behind, interlace, hook thumbs, whatever you'd like. Lift your chest, inhale. Exhale, fold. Move to the inside of the knee or ankle. Pull the left buttock back. Find your breath. Release the hands. Come up onto the back toes, take that left foot even wider, drop the back knee down. All right, open. Stay as you are, get into the hip. You might do that arm balance in a moment. All right, now if you're moving into that arm balance, lift up the back leg. Take the hand underneath, straighten it up, move forward. Ah, yes, this is my better side today. Breathe. And then find your way back. Couple breaths in down dog. Knees to the floor. Good job, yogis. Cross your ankles behind you, sit behind your feet. Bring your legs in front of you, so shift forward. And I have things in my way, so I've just shifted a little bit more forward. Roll around the wrists. Tap your toes, lift up, find your breath. And then just raise the knees to the height of, the feet to the height of the knees rather. And I'm sure your hip flexors are tired, so we'll stretch them in a moment. We have one last little core thing. So from your boat, lift your chest, arms are out. Inhale, push the feet as you lie back in your boat, eyes in line with your toes. Exhale, lift it back up. Inhale, push as you lean back. Exhale, return. Okay, 5 on your own. All right, now this 5th one, let's just come up and give ourselves a nice hug. Okay, last toe lock, I promise. Or maybe first one for you. So take your peace signs, slide in between your big toe and your second toe. Balance on your sit bones, sit up tall. Finding Ubaya Navasana or Ubaya Padangusthasana. So balancing on your sit bones, lift your chest, maybe this is it. Or start to straighten your legs. Push. You can also do this with a strap. Push into your toes. Lift your chest. Find your breath. One more. I don't think I have the room. You're welcome to take it wide. I may or may not actually have this room here. We'll see. Just enough. Breathe. And I'm really pushing into the toes and pulling the toes back. And then bring it back maybe. Ooh. And release. All right. Those of you that know my bunny's trying to get in here. Door is closed. I'm sorry, bunny. Maybe after. All right. So let's start to move into our yin postures. And I have a timer on my phone. So this will just sort of let us know how long we've been in these postures. I'll set it for 2 minutes. Okay, so let's come to our back. We'll do one last thing with the hip flexors working, and then everything after that will be stretching. So I'm lifting onto a block, feet to the ceiling. If you are feeling you really want an inversion practice right now, this could be handstand. Maybe have a headstand practice. Main thing is just flushing the fluids from the legs. This is good. Maybe we've increased our heartbeat. When we increase the heartbeat, we sort of make it easier to pump the blood throughout the body. And specifically when we do inversions, it makes it easier for the blood to return to the heart. Because the blood is coming to the heart feels like it has enough blood. It doesn't have to pump as hard, and it over time lowers our blood pressure. So inversions in any form are so great. We're here less than another minute, so if you're doing any other inversion, either do it again or you can join us. 4 more breaths. Now, if you were in a different inversion than what I'm doing, find your way onto a prop, whether it be a block or a folded blanket or a bolster. We just want some elevation. Then bend your knees. Place your left foot on the floor. You can keep it bent like it's bridge. The right leg hold in, and then maybe straighten the left leg out. And it really depends on how you're feeling, depending on whether that left leg is straight or bent. So if low back is feeling sensitive, then rebend the left knee. So we're in yin, so we're going to be here for duration, so 2 minutes on this side. And we don't want to feel this in the lower back. We want to feel a nice stretch or pull in the top thigh. If you don't feel enough, again, straighten that leg or lift your prop. Or you can always flip this. This can always be a deep lunge. Or you might take King Arthur at the wall, so you can really tailor this to you. What I like to do often is pull the right knee in, just to kind of tip, and then let it tip so much that the left leg lifts. And I can reach through the heel, and I actually feel a much deeper stretch there. And again, do what works for you. You know, oftentimes I hear from my students that they really enjoy the vinyasa part, but then they might check out or leave when it gets to yin or vice versa. But yoga is all about the union of opposites, right? So it's about that stability and ease, that strength and ease. And so these poses might be more challenging in a completely different way. The way to sort of settle and be still. To get away from that idea that you're doing nothing. These are actually so powerful. And then knowing that opposites heal. So if you like a vinyasa, most likely you need yin as your opposite. Or maybe restorative or meditation. So again, we don't want to feel this in the lower back. We're switching sides. Sides are different. But if you were starting to feel like that was a lot happening in your lower back, then change the height of the prop or flip the pose. All right, second side. It's like Animal Kingdom around here. I don't know if you can hear the crows. Which is good. I sort of loosely base every sequence off of a chakra, whether I tell you or not. So this practice was on the root chakra, Muladhara. This is all about connecting with the physical body, but really as it pertains and relates to the earth body. So for me, sort of listening to the animals and connecting with nature is very much connecting with the earth body. So maybe you have pets at your house, or some of you I know are practicing outside. Maybe you hear the birds, the wind. So see if you can connect to nature in some way, whether it be the animals, the elements, or even just your physical body. All right, less than a minute. Couple more breaths. very slowly set your feet down. So both feet on the ground, knees bent. Now you can stay in this supported bridge, but for me, I like to really do an active bridge. It just feels like it brings everything together. So I'm gonna bring my arms by my sides, really wrapping those shoulders underneath. I'm gonna hold the edges of the mat for now. My feet are inner hip width. I'm trying to line up my knees over my ankles. I'm gonna press into the feet and lift the hips. And we did a lot of hip openers, so it's really nice to draw the inner thighs together. Use those adductors, as well as strengthening the hamstrings. So there's our union of opposites. We stretched the hamstrings. Let's give them a good strengthening. Lower the hips for a moment, either onto your prop, or maybe you're already resting. And do it one more time. So have your knees parallel. Peel your hips up if you're taking the active version. Couple of breaths. Push into the feet. Try not to grip the buttocks. It can be engaged, but think more about engaging inner thighs and scooping your tailbone up to the back of the knees. And then if you have that prop underneath, remove it. Slowly paint the spine down one vertebrae at a time. And then once the hips get down, leave them there. Avoid pulling the knees in. Instead, leave the feet on the floor. Place your hands at your lower abdomen. Take an inhale into the lower belly. Let the hands rise. And then exhale, drive your belly down to the mat. Tiny pelvic tilt, just a little cradling of that tailbone up. Inhale into the lower belly. Exhale, drive it down. This is a really great way to work the inner sort of muscles of your core. So again, inhale and exhale. All right, one more. Okay, nice job. Take your feet to the width of the mat, knees are still bent, and just gently windshield wiper your knees side to side. All right. So we spent a lot of time sort of opening up the hips, so I always like to, again, find that opposite. So I'm going to cross the right knee on top of the left, so sort of moving more internally, or at least crossing in front. So staying on your back is nice. Reach for the calves or the heels. You can even do this at the wall, or I'm going to rock up and do the seated version. So moving into Gomukhasana. And if you need, it's nice to have a blanket or something, just if you want a little bit of a lift, because sometimes we tend to roll over too much onto the side. All right. Bear with me. There we go. All right, so right leg on top of left, whether you're doing this seated on your back or at the wall. Drop your hips. Let me get our timer going here. I'm going to increase it to 3 minutes because I think that you are ready to add a little bit of time into your pose. Arms are up to you. So we've done a lot of, what did we do today? We did arms forward. So you want to do any arms behind or wrapping it up, go for that. Notice these moments where, especially being in your house, it's really easy to go, okay, I'm good, I don't need that, and maybe get up and do something else. But think about how hard you worked in your vinyasa or in your arm balance or in any of the other poses where you really had your focus on something. So see if you can just shift it to this pose. See if you can shift your attention to being really present and really stable in this pose. So we've been here already a minute. See how fast it goes. And see if you can ground and find some stability, some stillness in your pose. And then let's add the ease. So add your breath. Create a nice gentle flow. So breathing in and out. And our last 90 seconds, See if you can count the breath. Maybe you get to 10 or 15 counts. Let the jaw unhinge. Breathe into that outer hip that did so much work for us today. Five breaths left. All right, saved by the belt. Switch sides. Not about you, but me, this right hip is so much more challenged in this pose. And even when I switch sides, it's usually the right hip that is still sort of speaking to me. So I'm gonna maybe sit up higher in this blanket again. We'll start that timer so you're not here longer than you need. Another 3 minutes. And then again, put just as much determination and focus into this pose. And I was holding forward. You can sit up tall. You can use the wall, whatever you'd like. Just find a place that you're moving into your edge, not past it. You can feel it. It's not nothing. But then use your focus and your breath to take it deeper. All right, less than 2 minutes. For me, these poses really help me stay present in the body because all I notice is the body. I notice sort of that experience in the hips. So it may be a little more successful for you to be present in the body in these poses. We have 90 seconds left. If you're an athlete, besides yoga, even in yoga, these stretches really help us improve our strength. The long muscle is a strong muscle. So we have 5 breaths left. Grab your strap. Let's come to our back. We'll take one final twist and then move into Shavasana. So I'll leave the timer as it is. We'll use that for Shavasana in a moment. So let's take our strap. I'll use a toe lock if you'd like, but I like at this point to sort of just relax. And then take the strap over the right leg. And we're moving into a twist. So you could twist with the leg at a diagonal, getting more of the IT band, the outer hip. Or this time, it's a different pose. We can let the hip tip over like I had you not do all the other poses. I'm actually going to use the wall. So let's be here. Let's just be here for 10 breaths on our own. So count your breath. Bring your leg up. And we'll switch sides. So strap under the left foot or however you'd like. And let's take our twist here. Again, about 10 breaths, give or take. Bring your leg up. And then take the finishing pose. You could move into happy baby, but for me, that's a little bit too back into hip opening. So I'm going to take a seated forward fold. You might take plow, or just take something that really feels like it's completing your practice. All right. Let's find our way into Shavasana, so make it comfortable for you. We'll be here 3 minutes. I'll use my timer one last time, just so that we can all relax. I don't know what that means. All right, that'll be our bell. It got changed for some reason. Okay, so 3 minutes. Get yourself comfortable and relaxed. And feel the whole body just melting into the earth. Let your physical body reconnect with the earth body. This is the Annamaya Kosha, sort of that outer sheath, kind of like the outer layer of an onion. And sometimes this layer is described as the food body. And this is the part of you that will return to the earth. Let the body soften. Enjoy your breath. Just observe it, but eventually let that too just fade away. And we've arrived. Shavasana. to draw our attention back. Moving fingers and toes. Send the arms overhead, maybe yawn. Bend your knees, roll to the right. And press yourself upright to seated. Hands to your heart in gratitude for all the work your body has done. Let's lift our hearts, bow our heads. Namaste.